My name is Matthew Beltz. I'm the host of the Film Stock Podcast, and I'm here at Summerdance 2024. We are getting to know the crowd. We've got filmmakers and fans. You're going to meet them all here, and we're going to have a good time. Summerdance 2024. So how did Summerdance 2024 come to be?
So Michael Gonza sent me a Facebook message. Facebook is where it's at, y'all. And he said, hey, I've got this new film and I want to have a premiere and I want to do it at the Regent. And then I said, why not get a bunch of people? Because everybody's making really, really, really cool shit right now. So I wanted to bring us all together. I figured we could bring our collective cast, crews, audience members, and hopefully create the event of the summer.
I think that this is the event. If you're not here right now, you're either stupid or don't know about it. This is Summerdance. This is like the poor man's Sundance right now, except it's not rigged.
All right, here we go. What's your name, sir?
My name's Patrick Rahal.
What's it like working with Gabby?
Very intense. Like, there's a lot going on. You got to be on top of your game. There's a lot of moving parts. You definitely have to be in tune with her vision.
What do you think about Summerdance 2024?
Because, it's tough to get eyes on your work. So, it's a great opportunity to show to our community, and then hopefully then it will go to a bigger platform.
How are you feeling today? Obviously, Summerdance 2024, this is the first time this is happening. What are your emotions going into this? How are you feeling?
Slightly nervous. I mean, this is my directorial debut, so naturally there are some nerves.
What do you think today's event says about the New England film community?
I think that it says a lot about us as far as supporting each other, bringing people together to celebrate everybody's work, and it's hard work as well.
I'm Patrick Rahal of Magenta Manor Productions and the Dead of Winter Entertainment Group, and you're watching Summerdance 2024.
Live from Summerdance 2024.
Welcome to Summerdance 2024. Check out the Film Stock Podcast.
Summerdance 2024!
Live from the Regent Theater, it's Summerdance 2024.
Live from the Regent Theater, it's Summerdance 2024, baby! Woo!
I know Jesus loves me.
Just a real quick introduction to anybody that doesn't know me. My name is Matthew Beltz. I'm the host of the Film Stock Podcast. It's a podcast about filmmakers for filmmakers, and essentially each episode I get to sit down with a new filmmaker and find out a little bit about them. And today I'm taking that format here for brief interviews. So without further ado, let's please invite Kris Salvi to the stage. All right, buddy. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Summerdance 2024.
I feel like I'm at the Kefauver trials.
No,
There's like a subcommittee on organized crime.
Has a little less pressure attached to it.
That's good. Yeah.
So I guess I want to start by asking you, where did this idea come from?
Well, shit.
I mean, it's a crazy movie. That's why I want to ask. It's
I always wanted to, in my mind, make Dante's Inferno, like the book. I don't have any money, so I can't do that. So I was always rattling around with this idea of somebody who goes from like one decade to another decade, to another decade, and they either see how it gets worse or how it gets better. I feel like in this case, in this movie, she saw that it got worse. And that idea rattled around in my head for a long time. And I have a co-writer, Rowan Fitzgerald, who co-wrote the script with me. I reached out to him and told him about this idea.
So when you work with Rowan, is it like, hey, buddy, I got all these abstract ideas working? Like,
kind of. I was just like, I gave him like bare bones. I was like, I got a movie about a girl in the middle of the field. She's trying to kill herself, and it doesn't work out. Go. And so we kind of came up with this idea, this whole, I wanted to do a religious film, kind of like accentuate my Catholicism a little bit. But there's a lot of fucked up shit in the Bible too. So I was like, all right, let's throw a lot of that fucked up shit, like the ultimate sin of killing yourself and going to hell, and kind of rattle around with that idea of like, what would happen if you killed yourself, but you didn't go to hell, but you went to like another decade? You know what I mean? Like if I killed myself and went to like the 1800s, would I be like, fuck, I don't have mass health? You know what I mean? Like that kind of idea, I guess. Yeah.
So what was the production process like? So you and Rowan come up with this idea, you write it, and then is it, all right, we're right into production, or was there?
No, it lingered for a little bit. It lingered, finding the right locations, trying to get, especially that field you see at the beginning of the movie. That was a bitch.
Yeah, where was that?
That was an abandoned field I just found, and we went there one morning and was like, okay, here we are. Yeah. This is it. I need a wide, kind of like wide view, and this will do okay. My buddy showed it to me a long time ago. He hikes out there. I don't do much hiking because I'm a smoker, but I limp with him as he goes along, and he showed me this giant field, and I was like, oh, I'm going to use that in a movie one day. And so I used it in this one.
Hell yeah. Can you talk about the cast? Who do you got in there, and what was it like working with them?
Amy Thomason, who I think did a really great job. Give it up for Amy. Amy really came to my rescue. I did auditions, and it was a really close call with a couple of actresses. Like, I had a really tough time casting this.
What do you mean? What was difficult about casting?
It was just everybody who sent in an audition did really, really great. Like, they did fantastic.
So it wasn't that you had a problem casting. It was a problem that you had I
had too many good people, and I was like, I can't put them all in the movie, like, as much as I would want to do that. But I was like, what? I was really looking for a girl that could accentuate that scream in the cemetery. And there was a couple of actresses that were good, and then there was like mousy ones that were like, eh. And I was like, all right, they're good actors, but they can't scream. Amy gave me all of them. And then everybody else kind of fell into line. Romeo I auditioned, who plays like the spirit guide. Yep. He's kind of like the Virgil of the movie. He's like Virgil from Wish.com, so... I cast him. He really had no lines, so I was just looking for kind of like someone like kind of who was young, not too old, but also he has like a very like boyish, pure look about him. So I was like, the character of Virgil needs to be like pure, and I auditioned him, and Mark Powers just arrived on set one day.
Let's give it up for Mark.
Yeah, let's give it up for Mark Powers every day. And Mark Powers just showed up, and I was like, all right, I've got my Smith Corona typewriter on set. I'm going to write a whole new scene where you're like the devil. And he just ended up in the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so I've had the pleasure of seeing a lot of Kris's films, and this seems like a departure for you. Is it fair to say you focus on a lot of crime, a lot of dark nights of the soul within these morally questionable characters? But this seems like that, but in a different way. Is that fair to say?
That would be more than fair to say. Like, I always said that my movies were about broken white people doing fucked up shit, and This movie was kind of like, not to, everyone here, I appreciate everybody who came out tonight to watch this movie, but it was also kind of like a fuck you to the audience. It was like, yeah, let them say I only make gangster movies now, motherfucker. I'm gonna make an abstract religious movie. Fuck you. And so that was kind of like the motive, that was kind of like, that's kind of like the voice that said, keep going, because the one who has to deal with my pain the most besides Gabby Rosson is our cinematographer and editor, Kris Esper. I show him like shots and ideas, and Esper is just like, why? 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 What is the point? I was like, yeah, man, we're gonna play some Phil Spector music and then have like scenes of, yeah, see, there he is, he's right there. He always asks why, but I think this might have been the first movie where Esper was kind of like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, because he didn't get it at all. He's lying, but yeah, this was the first movie where I was like, let's branch out and do something. I did a comedy with Justin Tebow, who's here. He's a fantastic actor. It's called Step Right Up. That was a departure a little bit for me.
Sure.
And then once I started with Step Right Up, I was like, oh fuck, I can do something else.
Let's go a little bit further on the branch.
Let's go a little bit. Yeah. Let's go really further. And this idea just stuck with me.
Well, I love that. I mean, the movie overall, it's really well shot. It's really well edited. I mean, it's got a ferocious pacing to it that I personally responded to, and I think the audience did as well. But something in regards to the pacing and the timeline, when you were writing it, when you get to the edit, it seems like it's all over the place in terms of, the time frame. Did that always find itself in the script, or when you were working with Kris, did that kind of present itself as we could be here, there, everywhere?
I feel like it was a little bit of both. In the script, it was even more vague than what you see in the movie.
Sure.
In the script, it was just like, she is in the modern day. And it's like, well, what is the modern day? You know what I mean? Like, that was the question of it. And there was always a voice in my head that was like, are we going to show the cars? Are we going to show the buildings? And if you look real closely at the film, in every single background of every decade that she's in, you can see the power lines.
Yeah.
There's power lines in the background of and they're like behind trees, and the trees just keep getting higher. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like nature is taking over the modern day, but the modern day technology is like still there. It's like still prevalent. And I think what was more important, rather than showing the modern day, was not showing the modern day, using your imagination. Like, what would 2024 look like to someone from 1900? They'd probably blow their brains out. You know what I mean? Like, they'd fucking flip out. So to me, it was like, that was important, not to show it, only to hear it. And what was the question?
It's okay. I'm going to ask you one last question because we only have a limited amount of time.
I don't want to stay up here all night.
I do have one last question. I think that I might speak for the audience when I say this. One of the wide shots that you had, it had a really interesting effect, and I didn't know if you would want to talk about it. So she's running away from the camera.
Yeah.
She's running in slow-mo, but in the background, you can see the traffic.
Yeah.
Can you speak briefly about how you achieved that?
That's all Esper.
Question?
Yeah, I mean, it was my idea, and I told them about it. And I was expecting Esper to be, I was like, I wanted to run in slow motion, but I want everything to be really fast in the background, like time moves on.
And Esper's like, hold my beer.
No, Esper actually, I was expecting him to be like, Jesus Christ, Kris, what the fuck? But instead, he was like, oh no, we can do that.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, we can absolutely do that. I'm like, really? And he's like, hell yeah. You don't know anything about directing, do you, Salvi? And I was like,
well,
no.
I think it's very clear that you do know something about directing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Kris Salvi.
Mary had liked to look at her mother from a distance, and she thought she was very pretty, but she knew very little of her and could scarcely have been expected to love her or to miss her very much when she was gone.
Stop it! Oh.
I can still remember how that music used to make me smile.
Kris, I want to thank you for presenting us with that. That was a really beautiful film.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was something about that it almost didn't feel like it was a film, but so much as like a piece of someone's heart. Mm-hmm. I would love to ask you, where did the idea stem from to create this?
So I had 2 grandparents that succumbed to Alzheimer's. Both sides of my family, actually. And I've seen lots of films about the subject, and, you know, they're always interesting, but, you know, it was always from the perspective of, like, the caretaker, or, you know, and sort of the outside. But I wanted to be like, what is it like inside their mind? Like, what is it like to be trapped in that with, you know, literally losing yourself? And so I was anxious to explore that in a kind of a different way, so.
Yeah, maybe.
Thank you.
It really is a touching film, and I suppose, you know, it couldn't have happened without your lead actress, Sissy O'Hara.
Oh, yeah, no, without a doubt. You know, so I have to preface by saying, you know, I'm sitting up here representing the film, but there should be 30 people behind me or next to me, because this was a village to make this happen. It would take a long time, but I mean, it was worth it. So I wish everyone was up here with me that worked on it, because, you know, without them, it wouldn't have turned out.
I guess you bring up the idea of how much time it took. You know, when you had the idea before, you know, it's my understanding that this, you know, was cutting it close to the wire in terms of the sound design. And
Right.
it's so driven by sound. Can you
Right.
talk about the process?
Yeah, so it's interesting because even the editing changed a lot. You know, first it started with the kitchen scene, then we went into her head, but then I was playing with it and I was like, well, what if we already start in her head? That way the audience has an idea of where we are. You're setting up your audience, and, you know, and so I rearranged it first, and then, you know, cut some stuff down, and we did some more pickup shots, because originally there wasn't that much detail in the original shooting. But after getting some feedback, it was decided, yeah, we should go in and get more close-ups, so that's what we did. And it was for the betterment, really. But yeah, no, it was definitely driven by sound, because I really wanted the visuals and well, if you notice too, there's also no music in the film, and that was...
No, yeah, that's pretty powerful.
That was very intentional, because I was like, you know what? No, because the music might come off as being too sentimental, sappy, and I didn't want that. I wanted more of a experience, you know, like as if we're really in there. So, like, you know, I had the sounds be the soundtrack, if you will.
Now we can't talk about this movie without talking about mixed media.
Yes.
Film.
Yes.
DV tapes. Now,
VHS, yep.
Was that all done practically, or is that an effect that
Nope, that was all done practically.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm a big purist for that stuff, so I mean, there's that aspect, but also I didn't think digital would really do it justice. I really wanted to play with it and be like, oh, okay, what if we did mix it for real? So I shot on Super 8, got it transferred and scanned to digital by Cinelab in New Bedford. They're very good. And then I just...
Shout out to Cinelab.
Yes. And
seriously, they're great.
And then I cut into the film, saved it with the VHS. We shot on VHS, shot on TV tape, digitized it, and then I just cut into the movie.
Those moments with the mixed media, I mean, they're so powerful. That scene where she's recording herself in the car and then she turns the camera on her husband, I mean, that just brought a touch of, you know, beauty to it all. Yeah. It really did.
It was funny, when we were shooting that, the actress, Allison, who played Anna, you know, in that scene, she was so concerned. She was so concerned about it looking correct. I was like, no. I was like, no, don't worry about it. It could be as poor as possible. That's the idea. I mean, you know, no one really thinks about framing and white balance and all that like cinematographers do. But
no, it felt very authentic. It felt very authentic, and it was nice to kind of see that mixed in with this, you know, more surreal landscape of her mind and her losing track of time and losing track of her belongings and in essence her life. So yeah, man, I really just want to applaud you on this movie. It touched me, and I hope it touched you all as well. Before I let you go, I want to know what can we expect from you in the future? You working on anything else?
Yeah, so you know, I'm always doing stuff with my film family, you know, Kris Salvi and Gabrielle Rosson. We just shot something yesterday, as a matter of fact. And
of course you did.
Of course we did. No, but I'm also writing all the time. I have a couple of feature scripts that I wrote. One of them I hope gets off the ground, and, you know, I have a bunch of shorts, but time will tell.
Hell yeah.
So-
Well, I think I speak for us all when I say I can't wait to see your next short. I can't wait to see your feature come to life.
Thank
Let's
you.
give a round of applause for Kris Esper.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the ugliest woman in the world.
I love you, Jonah.
Love is a luxury that people like us can ill afford.
You lie.
Do I? And what would the people say? A man like me with a face like you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gabrielle Rosson. Hello, hello. Thank you. Please come join me.
Okay.
So I want to start off on a funny note. Quiet seed bearer is now my favorite way to tell someone to shut up. That's awesome.
Yes.
But getting into it more seriously, I had the luxury of speaking with you about this project before it premiered here today, and I think that it would benefit. Please tell us the true story for anybody that doesn't know. It's fascinating.
Sure. So, well, actually, I have to shout out all the cast, crew, producers, everyone, executive producers, everyone that helped make Le Monstro possible. Thank you. We could not have made that without you. So the true story that inspired this film is about Julia Pastrana, the Victorian ape woman. So if you've ever heard of a freak show, she's pretty much the mother of freak shows, because she was traveling the country, the world actually, as the bearded woman. She was billed as the ugliest woman in the world, and her husband/manager exploited her to the fullest. Even after she died, he had her body taxidermied/embalmed and toured her around, and the body of their dead child. So she died after complications of childbirth to their son. So he was making money off of her even unto death. So, yeah.
And you came across that story.
Great guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Great guy.
Yeah. And you heard about this story, and you had to make it. You had to make a version of it.
Well, so for everyone who knows me or who doesn't know me, I love period pieces. I don't have a flying car or time travel or anything like that, so that's how I go back into the past and live my best life, is exploring the past through films. And I came across the story and I tucked it away because I couldn't afford it. Like Kris, I'm also broke. And so I saved it for a rainy day, and then I went through sort of this quasi breakup. We weren't really a thing, but it was a thing, and it hurt me. Let's keep doing air quotes. And I was like, I have to make this film, and I have to play this part.
I want to compliment you to the most extreme, because this time around watching it, something that I was really struck with was kind of the juxtaposition you have between his character, who on the outside is very physically beautiful.
Exactly.
And something you do very well with the main character is, even though she's technically not physically beautiful, the way that she speaks is so poetic. The way that she dances,
right.
The way that she sings. I think that was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Can you talk about the actual production of it, please? How long did it take to film? Where, what was it like working at that auditorium?
Sure, and if any of you watch that and are thinking about what is beauty, then good. We achieved our purpose because that's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to make people think like, yeah, maybe she's ugly on the outside, but she can also sing and she's also paying all the bills. So, there's something to be said for internal beauty, and that's what we wanted to highlight with this film. And, we shot it over 2 days. One of the earliest pieces of advice I ever got when I started my filmmaking career was surround myself with talent. And so I immediately went to Ben Heald, who's here today. And I've always wanted to work with him. And so I was like, Ben, do you want to make this film? And he liked it, which was great, and was willing to work with me on it. And we shot the whole thing in 1 day, but we had a half-day prep the night before. So, it was a short script. It was really short. So.
Well, it looks beautiful.
Reasonable.
I'll give a shout out to Ben as
Thank
well.
you.
That the cinematography was amazing, dude. Wherever you are, it was great. And I would also like to call attention to the score. From my understanding from the credits, it's all original. Yes, no, where are we
Soirée
at?
en Mer is the opera I sang. That's from Cezanne. I think I'm saying that correctly. And it was arranged by Ian Roshkin, who then also wrote original accompaniment for the score. So, I've been working with Ian since the 90s. I'm aging myself. I'm dating myself. It's fine. We can tell by the wrinkles I'm old. But, we've been working together a really long time, so I trust him. And I basically said, here's the script. What do you think? And he was actually really helpful in a couple of ways. I wanted music during her monologue. I thought that was a great moment for music, and he was like, no, let's have no music there. And I deferred to him because I trust his brilliance, and I do think it worked. And then also with the color and the black and white, it was always a vision to have playing with the colors of this film, because I've never made anything in black and white until this. And I originally was going to do the flashback in black and white, and he said, no, switch it, do the flashback in color. And I said, that makes so much sense because, it's Wizard of Oz vibes, right? Like you're in your happy place, so that should be in color. Is kind of how I thought of it.
Definitely. Definitely. And last question I want to ask you is, you edited as well. What was that process like? Usually
horrible.
Well, the reason I ask is because, as a lot of filmmakers out here know, there can be kind of two camps.
Right.
Some people like to have an editor and they like to look at it objectively, and then some people find themselves wanting to be really involved in the edit because it's, an extension of themselves. So, what was the process like for you?
Well, I am a control freak, so it was easy for me to take on that role of editing, but it was really literally to cut down costs. I know how to edit. But then as I got in there and realized that the film was like a puzzle piece, I was like, nobody else could have edited it. So, I think, for those of us who edit, of course, we're going to save $1 and we're just going to edit it ourselves. And that was the initial approach. But in the end, I realized that it was a damn good thing I edited it, because I would have driven any editor nuts.
Sure.
I would have been harassing him with notes constantly.
Well, I'm glad that this story exists. I'm glad that you produced it. I'm glad that your team helped you make it. It was a really lovely film, and I think we all owe Gabby a debt.
Stop. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
I don't even know where to start. Dude, that was so much fun. Oh my God. What is it? I'm gonna ask, where'd the idea come from?
I got a lot of passion for bananas, and I was sitting on a bench, and I just thought this was a good idea. And I started working on the script about 5 years ago, and it took me a long time to raise the money for it, but you know, I think it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty all right. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Where? Why the banana in the nose?
Well, you know, it really fit the character. You know, he just loves bananas. So, you know, we all like to, you know, do things with bananas sometimes when no one's looking. So.
Now, watching it, I couldn't help but feel like it's a message about enjoying the things you love a bit too much.
Word. Yeah. Yeah, man, you like bananas too? Yeah.
I love bananas. And this movie showed me how much I enjoy just a close-up of a banana wig. Who is that? Oh, God. Who's this? Is that the banana?
You used way too many fucking bananas.
Oh, look, no, not again. Oh, please.
Listen, man.
No.
I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
All right, okay. All right, okay.
Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Sam Cohen just got taken by his own movie. Well, I guess that's the interview. All right, let's see what's next.
Hi, my name is Becca Gold, and I'm auditioning for the role of Karen.
Now, before we do anything, there's a pencil in my hair. Would you be a doll and fetch it?
Beth!
Becca!
Awesome.
You're incredibly talented.
First she came in here, and she called me ugly to my face.
Dax, why is this person trying to speak to me?
Organic green tea.
No, lemon ginger. Always lemon ginger.
I'm not a curly-headed duck fuck. You met third world dictators.
Yeah.
Which ones?
Were you acting or were you for real?
Which one's gonna get me the part?
I was trying to be nice. You're still looking at us.
I know, is that we?
Do we look like we're joking?
Well, none of the good ones.
Dogs make you happy?
Yeah.
Peter Piper, the pickled pepper picker, picked a peck of pickled peppers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mark, Becca, and Anthony to the stage. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Come on over, buddy. Come on over.
Thank you.
Becca? No? Anthony? Awesome. Thank you all for being here. That was awesome. Let's, I got a chance to talk to you all for a little bit in the lobby there, and I would love to know, Mark, where this story came from.
Actually, the two of you came to me like with an idea, and I'm pretty sure obviously Becca's an actor. You've had many bad auditions, so we thought, what's the best way to really stereotype and play this up in a way that that's not exactly normal to anyone else.
Sure. And so, Becca, it's my understanding that you and Anthony kind of collaborated on the idea and came to Mark about it. Is that correct?
Yeah, so actually, fun fact, these guys were my bosses on one of the TV shows that was filming around here at the time, Kevin Can F Himself, which is how we kind of met. I was doing background work and became friendly with them, and then started doing some health and safety set PAing. So they've always been my go-to guys because we developed this really cool bond, I think. And as an actor and an artist who kind of came back from California in 2020, when I graduated, I was looking for a community because I was out in LA for so long and I felt like I didn't have one here anymore, especially coming from theater. So, and with myself, there was a lot going on as an actor who at the time was looking for representation and things like that I was learning about myself and my looks that kind of mattered and how casting directors view you versus more of what your capabilities are. So I was struggling with having that realization and like having to kind of deal with that. So I came to them and was like, I have so many frustrations, and it's, you know, I have the degree, I have all of these things. I've been acting for 20 years since I was 7. I'm 27. And it was like, how can I create something? Because it's just some of the things that I get are ridiculous. Like I'm a white Jewish woman. I'm just a purebred Ashkenazi Jew, but I get told I'm ethnically ambiguous. So I get casting calls for ethnically ambiguous, and I get very confused a lot of the time about that. And it's like, okay, but so a lot of the question of what am I? And so I got to do a lot of exploring with these guys and with their talents and with their trust of helping kind of create this story that will continue on. Just because, as you know, there's billions of actors in the world, as we see, and we work with some of the big ones, and there's a lot of crazy stories and things that happen on set.
Sure. So Anthony, if I may, your role as producer and also actor, you know, where did the satire idea come from? Did it just seem natural hearing stories from Becca?
Yeah.
It's like, here we go.
It seemed like that was going to be the only way to go, because the alternative was going to be just so serious when you hear some of her background that you might be like, oh, that's just not.
Sure.
Nobody wants that, trust me. But so it was better to make fun of her than, you know.
Make fun of the situation.
Yeah,
so
the
to speak.
situation. Yeah, not her so much. But.
And Mark, if I'm correct, this is your first short film as director?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, it was really well done. It was really well done. I mean, talk about the cast. The cast, the energy between all of them, like, was all of that improvised, or was all that scripted?
50-50. I mean, we definitely left some room in, on the day to, improv. And I'm pretty sure, I told, every actor, if there's something that you think might be funnier that's not written, by all means say it.
Mm-hmm.
I did get a chance to speak with every single actor before they went on about how they wanted to play it and all that. And a lot of them just had the idea in their head and got excited about playing a character that they thought they could have a lot of fun with. Obviously, some had way more fun with it than others, and it really was, half the hard part is actually knowing when not to cut, because occasionally it's like, wait, they're going on a different tangent about something. Maybe I should just let this go.
Mm-hmm. And, last question before I let you all go. Thank you all for being up here. But with the editing, I mean, it looks like you guys must have had takes and takes and takes, because the chemistry between everybody. What was the editing like?
It was a process and a half. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it was.
I'll say this. There's, obviously I've worked with Gabby on many, shorts, and, she has often said, editing is like a hard process, and now I know exactly what she means by that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you very much for showing us your projects, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Johnny, get back to this!
You got the girl? What you trying to say?
It's you. You hardly know this girl yet. She's gonna have your name in a few weeks.
Yes.
You're nervous? Don't get nervous. Nervous, Benny.
I thought you of all people would understand. Are you sweating?
Did someone die? Ooh, Benny boy found himself a six-star.
You bit him.
He's a schmuck.
What's up, Putz?
Is it your hope that I condone this feeling of yours? I don't know. I remember this girl.
Oh shit, man. He's having a stroke. Check out these abs.
Sei gesund.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage Rob Levinson. Hello, sir. Hello. How's it going? Good to meet you. Rob, how's it going?
Oh, I'm glad it's over.
So you're the only filmmaker that I haven't had a chance to meet prior to the premieres. So
okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you.
So as I've been asking all the filmmakers, I would love to for you to tell us where'd the story come from.
Well, I'm from New York originally. Didn't spend too much time there, but I used to go back there quite a bit as a kid. So Brooklyn in particular had a very special place for me. My grandparents lived there, and going to Brooklyn was our Disney World vacation because we couldn't afford Disney World, so Brooklyn, took its place. So going there was always a treat, and my grandparents lived in a very mixed neighborhood, so I got to be exposed to different cultures, which was pretty cool. Because growing up in Massachusetts, you don't have that, that mix of people. So that was pretty wild. So I don't know, I always wanted to write a New York story, and I thought, what better way to do it than to try to do a comedy? Normally, I've been doing a lot of dramas or mostly dramas. So I thought it'd be nice to do a comedy for a change.
Well, it was really well done. I want to focus on the production aspect of it. I mean, for a small film, this is a gigantic production. Like how all the background extras, the crew. How did you personally go about starting this process and getting everybody on board?
Like other filmmakers have said, it really takes a great team. So I was very fortunate to have a lot of people behind the scenes helping me raise funds. Especially Samson and Julia, they really stood up and They helped me raise a lot. We raised quite a bit of money for this, and I suck at raising money, like maybe most of you can relate to. It's hard to get people to even donate $25. But I was lucky, and I also got really lucky with locations. Maven's Delicatessen in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. I recommend everyone go there. If you like New York-style deli, sorry for all my vegan friends and vegetarian friends, but they make really good sandwiches. And I just went in there one day and asked if I could film there, and they said yeah. So that was pretty cool. My parents are in the movie, as you saw at the end. It was fun directing them, and I threw myself in there for the hell of it too. Just so I could work with Paul Kandarian. So that's off my bucket list now. So you won't see me in any more movies. So I'm very lucky. Just location-wise, I'm lucky. The crew, the cast, everyone very patient. This all went very fast. This production.
How fast are we talking?
Very fast. So I wrote the script January of this year. Did it, and I wrote the script in about 2 weeks. And then in February, March, I started contacting some close friends like Samson Zillick, who's in the movie, plays Johnny. Told him about it, shared with him the script, shared the script with a few other people. And before you knew it, I was off to the races. The first week of April, we were on set filming.
And how long was the production?
We filmed 1 full day at the Delicatessen. It was a hot set, by the way, so there were real people there. We had a sign up letting them know that we were filming.
I was wondering about that. I was going to ask you. So what's it like filming,
Yeah, it wasn't too tedious. We only had to stop a couple of times because the bathroom was in the back of the building, so we had to let people walk through the set. So we only had to stop a handful of times, so we got really lucky. We filmed a day at Starlight, which is a lounge not too far from here. Yep. They were very gracious. We filmed the dance scene there. We filmed at my parents' house. Where else? I'm missing Sam. Where else did we film? Brooklyn? Oh, Brookline. Yes, Brookline was Brooklyn. We had originally wanted to go to Brooklyn. I knew some parts of the city that I wanted to film in, but logistically it wasn't practical. But Brookline was great. We found some spots in a real nice Jewish neighborhood that looked like Brooklyn, and got lucky. The weather cooperated. So.
Now, this movie has a lot of heart to it, and I really like the setup. You know, an individual kind of conflicted between the heart and tradition. And moving beyond that, let's talk about the dance scene. That was pretty intense. What went into that?
Okay, well, Dan Marshall, he's here. I know that. Is Kristen here? Is Kristen here? No? Okay, all right. Well, Dan was our choreographer, and he also was our Hebrew tutor for Julia. He taught her how to sing "Staying Alive" in Hebrew. Dan was an extra, and so was Kristen. So in between, Mariah and Brandon, who played Benny, and Mariah played Jezzy, they had crash courses over Zoom how to do the dance. But, doing it in person is the only real way to really learn how to dance. So they did a great job. So in between takes, Dan and Kristen would show them the moves. We would get them on set. We would film, let them do the moves, and then we'd cut, and then they'd show them more moves, and then we just pieced it together in editing. So that's how we made it kind of look somewhat fluid.
Well, it was very well done.
Thank you.
Now, before you go,
yeah,
what can we expect from you next? What are you working on?
I just this morning finished a short script called Ramirez. And you like true crime, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker? Yeah, pretty scary guy. So, there are some people here who might be involved in it. But yeah, so it's a psychological interview with the killer. It's a real newspaper, the Los Angeles Herald, which closed in 1989, and it's a reporter from that paper who gets to do an in-depth interview with Ramirez post-conviction. So I thought that was a pretty cool angle to take it from. So,
hell yeah.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Levinson.
Thanks. Thank you again.